Enable. Oh, shagara binga now. Hi, Courtney. Turn your camera on and show us something. Can you hear me? Yeah, we can hear you. My phone about to die, so Jesus. Y'all give me a sec. Yeah. Okay, can you see me now? Come on. Oh, come on, Deontay. Okay. Hi, Miss Marshall.
Hold on.
She said, ah. Oh, I'm reaching. Oh, that's good.
Come on, I can't. Oh, hey, y'all can hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. I thought I was on mute. Who's vacationing poolside?
That's Courtney.
Oh, well, excuse me.
I know. She's
Where
in
are you?
Barbados living it up.
Barbados.
Yes, I'm in Barbados.
Oh my goodness. Okay then. All right now.
I might lose y'all because my phone about to die.
Yeah, just, get away from the cheap. Yeah, from cheap.
Barbados. Okay now.
What do you call it? Okay. Bro, who keeps kicking me
Oh,
out?
it's only open on Mondays, Saturday, and Sundays.
Why we got two people on here underneath Reach?
Is that the house?
Mm-hmm. Well, the host is Chantel, and then Walt is the other one. Oh,
There's two houses.
but
Courtney, I'm finna use her notes.
Courtney, Walt said he gonna use your notes. I know he was gonna steal my notes. I charged $50 for my notes, sir.
I'm gonna use some of them.
You
Not
better
all of it.
run me my money from my notes.
No, I'm not gonna lie. They fire though.
See, I took my time with those notes.
Yeah, they tough.
I deserve credit.
They real tough.
I'll let you use it. Hi, Aaron. I'll let you use it tonight.
Shout out to you.
It's 7:59. Said at 7:59.
7:59.
6:59. I'm tired. Don't do that.
Hey, Walt, I
I
have a
had a
question
long
for you.
day. True, who,
Walt,
Miss
hear me?
Martha? Yes, ma'am.
No, I just have a question for Walt right quick. Non Bible study related.
What's up?
Can your friend I have a disc that has all of my writings and stuff on it, but our IT people think it was virus infected. All the stuff that I have because my computer crashed, remember? Can your friend do anything with that? Because I don't want to lose my books and stuff, and I'm afraid to plug it into my computer. Thought about
It's a
plugging it into the
disc.
work computer. Huh?
It's a disc.
Yeah, it's on all my stuff is on a flash drive, but the IT people were afraid because they were like, you might have to, like, which is crazy because IT people were afraid to figure out how to clean it up or see if it needed to be cleaned or whatever. Can your friend look
Okay.
into that?
I'll see if he can. He moved to Nebraska, but my dad probably can too, because my dad did computers as well. I'll talk to my dad.
Okay, it's got all my books and stuff on it, my sermons and stuff, and I cannot lose that.
Okay. I'll hit my dad up after the study.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
I wish you would have asked that because he literally just walked in the church, He just left.
Oh, your dad. And I left
Yeah,
the
he
disc at work,
legit
but I was
just
like,
left.
I need it. I need my disc. It's got my books that I've written. It's got everything on it. I cannot afford to lose that.
Yeah, he just left. So
Okay, I'll bring it. From work tomorrow and keep it on my person.
okay. So we gonna man, we always gotta start a little late because everybody come rolling in at like 7:05, bro. I should do that. Just tell them 6:30. They'll pull up. Everybody pull up at 7. Yeah, Angela, why you late, bro? Look. Oh, that's my.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
What's up, D?
Ain't nothing much.
We gonna give it till 7:05 because that's when everybody just start flooding in here for real. You said what? Hey, Miss Tiffany, you gonna have to change your name.
I'll think about it. All done, Walter, all done.
That's when Miss Tiff changed her joint too. We still got some people trying to get in, so hold on. I'm still texting some people.
Tiffany, I'm mad you said Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay. You made me change it.
What was the other character?
Anakin.
What? No,
Anakin.
I like I don't like Anakin. I like
Yo-
the little green one. The one
Yoda.
that Yoda, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like Baby Yoda.
I like Yoda. Yoda was very wise.
Hey, Jay, turn that off, bruh. Hold on, my sister. Hold on, my sister's trying to get in here. Um, when she get in here, I'll start.
My fault.
You knew exactly what you was doing. Man, it's my fault. All right, cool. Janine Chantel was trying to make sure we started without you. I was telling her to give you a minute.
Y'all could have gotten started, but thank you for waiting, Chantel.
You were in the house of the Lord.
Did I not say take over real quick so I can get my sister in here?
But you made it sound like I wanted to.
Huh? No, I'm just playing. I'm just capping. I'm capping. I'm big capping. I'm big capping. All right, y'all. We in here. We about to talk about purpose tonight. But before we get started, I'm gonna get somebody to pray real quick. Jay, go ahead. Go ahead. Open us up in prayer since you want to play that song.
I ain't never letting that go, bruh. The one time I go to y'all church, that's crazy. But anyway,
Amen.
dear Heavenly Father, we come to you now to thank you for this day. Thank you for the mercies that you've given us. As we go through this Bible study, Lord, help everyone to take something from it. Help everyone to take something meaningful, something treasureful. Help everyone have a great rest of their week and with many days to come. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. So initially, I wasn't really supposed to be here, and I was gonna have Miss Tiff take over, but I got to get off today. So I asked her want to talk about purpose because it kind of goes in hand with what I ended up something I ended up doing. So I went to the altar like last Sunday, right? Last Sunday to kind of not to kind of just to step into my purpose into ministry, which I have a vision or a view of what that is, but we gonna see where it goes because I'm pretty sure it's gonna go. Oh wow, it's gonna go someplace bigger. It's gonna be bigger than what it is. So we talking about purpose tonight because I feel like a lot of us in here got a lot of different. We have purpose and we all have gifts that we carry that God has given us that definitely can not just add to this, but just to y'all's lives in general. And I know for me, I mean, when I'm talking to some of the people that after I got done at the altar, man, when I tell y'all, I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. Like my days have been so peaceful. It don't matter what's been said to me, what's been going on. I just been happy and just like just like got a different type of fire inside of me. And I'll use like the scripture, one of these scriptures that I ended up finding on my own, Courtney. um, it's it's Ephesians 2:10. It says, God has made us what we are. In Christ Jesus, God made us new people so that we can spend our lives doing the good things He had already planned us to do. Now, for me, I know that I kind of been knowing that God has called me to do these certain things because I've had somewhat of a I guess, light. And I'm not gonna go deep into that because every time I go into that, I be talking down on it. But I don't do that now. Ever since I got to the altar, there's a purpose behind it, the light. So now I'm ready to use it for His kingdom. But it's just freeing to step into that. I'm gonna use one of these questions from Courtney to get things started. And ask y'all, have you ever felt unsure of you all's purpose? And if so, what has helped y'all kind of deal with that in a sense?
I'll start. First of all, my name is William Pepper Austin. What's popping? I guess yes, in a sense, going through just life, you can kind of get stuck. I know me personally, I kind of am trying to find my way. As far as my purpose, it is more clear to me now that it has a lot to do with me giving back because in my mind I have a gift of bringing people together, and I can definitely display and use that more. And um, short answer, yes, I have felt like I still don't already always know my purpose is, but I'm leaning more towards of being more of a giver, being using myself as a servant for God to help other people. Like prime example, I've joined my community board, or I live out in Onda, and I joined a park board just to try to do things to get involved more with the community. And I'm not, like I said, not 100% entirely sure, but I know it has something to do with me serving other people. Because I like to call myself a connector. So there you go. I don't know if that answered the question, to be honest with you.
No, you did. No, you
Okay.
did. You did.
Okay.
No, because I was going to chime in because I feel like I'm the same way when it comes to the connection. I feel like that's that light that I didn't want to like kind of like touch on. Huh? Who's that? But it's that light that I kind of don't want to like touch on, but it's kind of like I'm able to like you say, bring people together in a sense, like for example the fellowship, and that's why it's crazy because like how I got you to come out there, and you're like, man, I want to give back. I'm the same way. So in ways we can collab on stuff, but no, I get that. You did answer the question. Aaron says, I've discovered my purpose over the years, but struggling walking into it and finding fulfillment in it. I don't know if you want to get on the mic and elaborate. The question was, have you ever felt unsure of your purpose? And if so, what has helped you? But okay. But yeah, so anybody else would like to answer the question? If you do, unmute your mic. Okay. And I'll mute mine.
I mean, I've definitely had like problems with my purpose too.
Okay. So you want to elaborate?
Yeah, the way I've been trying to find it was just, well, by trying to find what I'm good at, what can I do, how can I do it, and just praying about it. Really.
Yeah. Okay, I feel that. I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna dive in a little bit deeper after this. Courtney said and Martel's gonna speak after this. I've been told my purpose is prayer. Still trying to tap into it with God. I've noticed how I feel when I pray for me and others, though. It must feel really good when you do that. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, so I don't think I would say I feel unsure. I'm still trying to find my purpose myself, but that question, it kind of brought like the scripture I got from my reading, and it was Jeremiah 1, and pretty much after verse 5. Jeremiah was God asked him to speak on his behalf to I believe it was Jerusalem, and Jeremiah was just not sure he would be able to speak because he didn't know how to speak or talk, and God just
chapter 1 verse 5.
pretty much, yeah, 5 into like the remaining of that chapter there. And God reassured Jeremiah that, hey, I'm going to be speaking on your behalf. I'll put the right words in your mouth to speak or say. Just believe in me. So I kind of took that to, hey, whatever it is, I feel so, whether it's preaching, gospeling, or being a disciple, or like Will said, giving back. God's gonna reassure that into me. And when that time comes, I'm just waiting for it. Um my I'm not sure, it's more like a question or a thought, but are you guys thinking, or maybe it's just me, I always thought that, like, if your purpose, will it be something that you're passionate about or something you not sure you're gonna want to do?
Should I answer that?
So would you say, would you be okay with your purpose? Yeah. So would you be okay with your purpose if it was something that you're not so passionate about, or if it's something that you were passionate about?
I feel like in a sense, I don't know. I feel like when you following God, when you like really lock in with Christ, you're gonna be passionate about it. I feel like when you and I was gonna touch on the fact of, I think it's more so here. I think it's so. I don't know. We can touch base on it. I think it's more so of like surrendering for real, because we all have free will in how we do things in the world. You feel me? Yeah. God doesn't tell us you gotta do this. He kind of shows you, hey, this is what it could look like for real, but you got a choice. So like, in a sense, I know for me, it's fulfilling, like the purpose with the kids and stuff is fulfilling. Now I'm doing this. Now I want to walk in the youth ministry. And now I'm like, I'm getting all these ideas and how I can really cook and bring people together. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like when you just surrender your will to him and you follow him wholeheartedly, I feel like that's like I feel like you gonna want it's a different type of fire. Like before you got in here, I told them, I said, I don't know what it is, but after I left the altar, I like felt like a different fire in me. Like I'm like on go mode. Like I'm ready. Like I'm cooking in my head, ideas and everything. And this wasn't happening before I did that. I had like little ideas, but now I'm like, okay, I'm like having different ideas of how I can collab with some people now, how I can make things happen for the youth, different people that I'm talking to now about like mentoring and stuff like that I haven't even brought up to all of y'all yet, but I feel like eventually, you get into that. What you think?
Well, that was a good thought, but you mentioned you're already within the youth community, like helping the youth out. Would you have felt the same way if you felt so your purpose would be to be leading the adults? Like, no, no. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, would you be comfortable with your purpose if it was something that you wasn't comfortable with or familiar with, or didn't see yourself do it?
And it's because I knew I didn't see myself wanting to be with adults.
Yeah.
Because I mean, not all adults, but I see some of the adults, and like how I said when I preached and I played the music, how I told Chantel and them, I was like, them boy was not rocking with this. But it's like I know more how to connect with the youth now than they do. Not saying they wash, but sometimes you can't teach old dogs new tricks. So then it's like, but then on top of that, you want to know what I thought about too? When I was like, if that's what he called me to, I would still be okay with it. And the reason why reason why is, if he's called me to do that, I know from me, in that sense, I'm gonna be a convictor because I'm gonna start breaking things down. Because how y'all gonna judge the kids? And the Bible tells us not to judge. How y'all gonna make the kids feel bad about coming into the church and what they got going on when we supposed to like kind of meet them halfway, and you supposed to like kind of be a shepherd towards them. Y'all, you supposed to lead them. You supposed to help. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So in a way, I was just like, okay, it's just gonna be a challenge. But that fire in me is kind of like, ooh, I love the challenge because I'm submitting to God's will.
And I think that is maybe the one thing I'm unsure, or maybe self struggling with is, hey, God showed me my purpose, and it's something that I would have no idea or I would have no idea or like I have no interest in doing. And so I kind of pray on that. It's like, hey, please make it be something I want to do or something that I am feel encouraged about doing.
So, all right. So, how do you feel about that question? Hold on, I'm sending the Zoom link to somebody. Have you ever felt unsure of your purpose and what has helped you? I love you too. Hold on. Let me send the Zoom chat link real quick.
I'll expand because I didn't really answer the second part of the question. So like, what the things that have like changed? Like sometimes, like your habits, like you kind of got to get out of your own way sometimes. Like I know for me, like in high school and college, I did a lot of gallivanting and I used to drink a lot and just do a lot of crazy stuff. And it's just like at a certain point, it's like you keep knocking your head on the same door and expecting different results. So I think just to expand on that, like you got to kind of get out of your own way. So maybe it habits are difficult to change, but when you reach a certain point in your life where it's like, all right, well, I don't want to continue to do this. I'm not fulfilling my purpose, whatever that may be, or I'm just not progressing where how I want to be. So just like take into account that like Walt says, we have free will. We can do whatever we want in this world. But if you notice that your habits need to be changed, like if you need to go work out or just certain little small things, the small things matter. So it's not easy to change certain habits that we have become accustomed to in our lives, especially at the older we get, but just take heed to that. So a lot of the time, to help out with your purpose is kind of just get out your own way. You know what I mean? Try something that you have not tried that will probably benefit you. Instead of playing that video game all day long, read a book. Instead of just little things like that will make you feel better about yourself and just kind of lead you to other and better things. And then yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Go ahead, Miss Marshall. Appreciate you, Will. Miss Marshall, are you there? You can hear me in there?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm on multiple screens right now.
Okay.
Wanted to just respond to what Mont was saying. Sometimes, like, and Miss Tiffany can probably piggyback off of this a little bit. When you're called to do something in your purpose, sometimes it's going to be not what you want to do or where you're not comfortable. I don't believe that God can use us in a state of being comfortable. He needs us to be in spaces where we can definitely make a change and where we can definitely do things differently. I wasn't the type that liked to speak out in public. That was something that I despise. I did not do it. I would always cower. I always wanted to be the person behind the scenes. I wanted to be the writer. I wanted to be the one doing all the work. But when he called me to step up front, it was like, this is different. And I'm not comfortable with it. Even now, I'm still not comfortable with it. But my purpose, I see what my purpose is in ministry. And that is to spread his word to various groups of people. Because like I told y'all a while ago, my purpose, it's evolving too. It's truly evolving. So no, it is uncomfortable. It's not where I wanted to be, and it's not where I asked to be, but it's where he needed me to be. And that's what the purpose is. You got to remember, we were created, God created man and woman to serve him. That's our purpose. That's one of our purposes, is to serve him. So in serving him, that doesn't mean I got to do it my way. I have to do it how he requires me to do it. So no, it's not always going to be in what you really like or what you're most comfortable with, but it's going to be in the space where he knows that you're going to make that impact that he needs you to make. And that was all that I had to say on that.
That kind of like chimes in with like surrendering to his will a little bit, right? In a sense.
100%.
Yeah, you gotta
100%.
kind of like what Will said too. Mixing in what Will said too, you gotta let go of yourself. And it's not always we all have free will, but You can't really always indulge into that free will. So we talking about purpose, y'all. Just letting y'all know. One of the questions was we're discussing a question right now. The question is, have you ever felt unsure of your purpose, and what has helped you? If so, if you have felt unsure, if y'all want to touch in on it, and then I'm gonna read some of the responses from the chat after this.
So,
You on the chat? You on your thing?
So, hi everyone. This is Amanda speaking. So, yes, I have been unsure of my purpose. Just simply asked my mom. I can go to her about those things. And so I had a conversation with her, and she was like, "Yeah, daughter, you need to pray." And she told me to read Jeremiah 29:11. And then from there on, I just kind of began to search scriptures about purpose. And also, I asked God to lead me to, I guess, for lack of better words or lack of better explanation, ministers who would give, like, profound teaching on understanding your purpose. And so God, put those things in my path, like a YouTube video or whatever. And it allowed me to just read the word even deeper about purpose, and just pray and trust God, and just know that He'll answer. And so understanding what confirmation looks like as well, because confirmation for everyone doesn't look the same. So that has kind of helped me to get through. So yeah. Thank you. I was trying to get it.
D'Angelo, Chantel, you about to Jeremiah 29. You know what Jeremiah 29:11 says? Huh? Hold on, I'm about to put it in the chat real quick. All right, D'Angelo said, I know my purpose for a while now. It's fully being committed to it without thinking everything must be perfect. I have to do this and that before I can actually get into my purpose. Would you like to elaborate on that, D? Hello, Amber.
Yes, like
hello,
basically,
everyone.
just basically feeling as though everything has to be set and placed in order before I can actually answer to that calling. So that's what I'm talking about, far as knowing my purpose and knowing it for a while, but thinking everything must be perfect before I step into my purpose.
I think you and Aaron both got the same thing, because he said the same thing right underneath you. It's like he said, like, I'm deserving of my purpose. It's like it's having a natural calling that you don't feel ready or perfect enough for, like Walt mentioned before about running from the calling to ministry. No, I think we all do feel like we have to be perfect and ready for something, but we're not all gonna be perfect. We're not Jesus. We're not Christ. You're not gonna be perfect. And look who he was rolling with. He was rolling with sinners. He brought sinners back, right? I think I like to talk about Saul a lot, because Saul was the one that persecuted Christians, killed Christians, right? And then he got blinded in the desert. And then God called a man that didn't even want to go help Saul. He was like, "What, you want me to go help him? I don't want to help him at all." And I know if we were all in that position, I'm not about to go help Saul, because Saul gonna try to kill me. I mean, if we being real, come on now. We being real. But but like, in a sense, he knew God called him to do that, and so he listened. So he did that, and now look, Saul turned into Paul. He had the veil lifted from his eyes, and now he's able to see. Oh man, I've been living wrong. I've been doing wrong. I've been going wrong all about this. What's up?
You said something very important there about Ananias.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go because it was a threat to his life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? but he was obedient.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then that was the transition moment, that pivotal point where Saul became Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there on, I mean, look at what Paul did, you know, all throughout the New Testament. And
Yep.
I mean, I can't even count all the things he's done, but it was a lot. He was very influential when he transitioned from being a Hitler of his time, executing Christians,
That's true.
you know, being an apostle.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And
so if we are willing and obedient, that's what we have to be. You don't have to necessarily know your purpose from the start, from the very beginning, but if you're willing and obedient, you take the first step, God will bring you the destiny helpers. God will bring you the resources. God will bring you the wealth. God will bring you all of these things that you stand in need of, and then you'll begin to see the bigger picture as you progress forward, as you move forward. But if you stand still and you're trying to figure everything out before you get started, you ain't going nowhere.
No, that's true. And when you talk about the obedience part, one thing I know I did want to touch on, I think last Sunday Miss Tiff preached about the people in the fire and how there was a fourth person in the fire, and how they had so much like courage. They just like you know, like I like to put it in like human perspective, our perspective. You tell me I got to get in this fire, I'm gonna be like, bro, no, like. But they just was like, all right, we gonna walk through it, and they came out with no burns, no nothing, like. And they said they saw 4 people in there. Miss Tiff, if you want to touch on that for me, go ahead, real quick.
You got it. Why are you second guessing yourself?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not. I just want you to. I love the story.
Yeah, it's so Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So Nebuchadnezzar created this gold statue, and he required everybody to bow down to the statue. It was about loyalty to him and not God. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, absolutely not. I serve God, and that's who I'm going to pray to. And so instead of bowing and kneeling to this gold statue, they continued to pray to their God. And so for that, they were thrown in the fire. And the Bible tells us that even the soldiers that went to put them in the fire, when they got near it, because they had turned it up so high that when they got near it, that they were consumed. So that's hilarious to me that the people that are trying to put you in the fire get consumed, but you don't get consumed. You're still able to go into the fire. And when they got in there, you know, when Nebuchadnezzar looked in there, he saw the 3 of them, but he also saw a 4th person in there, and that 4th person, he said, looked like a god. And that was just representative of, you know, even though we go through trials and tribulations, God is always right there with us, right? And so for me, it's about the loyalty. We're talking about purpose, and I've been trying to raise my hand, but I can't get it raised. I don't know what's going on, but at any rate, we're talking about purpose. And what's so funny about that for me is what we are doing tonight, this Bible study, and this whole ministry, this Reach ministry, and everything that we're doing was my purpose. When I first got into ministry, the first thing they did was attach me to the youth and the young adult ministry, to the children's ministry. And I hated it. I was like, why do I have to? I don't want to do the children. I want to do something to, you know, but I went with it, right? I was obedient, and the culmination of those years of working in that children's ministry and that young adult ministry and that youth ministry is right here on full display. Chantel, Courtney, many of you came up through that ministry. You were taught the lessons. You were a part of the church school. You were a part of the Sunday school. You were a part of the children's church that we did. You were in our Sunday school. You went on the trips with me when we went to the Battle of the Bands. All the things that I've been doing for the past 12 years were my purpose, but I didn't initially see that. And the more we get into it, and so for me, that's why I'm so excited about what's happening. And even though I'm stepping back and I'm just sitting in a spot of being an advisor, it is so overwhelming and so beautiful for me to watch, because this was my purpose all along. And so if you're obedient to what God tells you to do, I think it was Amanda that just said, it's not going to look pretty. You're not going to get all of the answers right up front. You're not going to know exactly what to do. You're not, it's going to look a little wonky at times, but just stay the course and stay faithful, right? Make sure that you're staying faithful to God, and it'll all work itself out. Yes, your purpose can change based on the season that you're currently in, right? You just heard me say that I'm sitting in a spot of being an advisor right now, and that's because I understand that my purpose is absolutely changing. I sat in that pulpit on Sunday all by myself, and since as long as I've been in ministry, I've said, I don't want a church. I don't want to go to a church. I don't want to pastor a church. I don't want to pastor a church. But for the last year, that's all I've been hearing people say. Are you ready for a church? Are you ready for a church? And every time they say it, I'm like, stop saying that. Stop saying that. And it was funny because Zaria was here on Sunday, and they were sitting in the congregation, and she sent me a text message, and she said, you up there solo, you look good, or something like that. And I said, stop saying that. And Jaquan came right behind her and said, nah, you just preached about coming out. You're coming out. And so I understand that my purpose is absolutely changing, and I'm okay with that now, right? If that means that I'm going to be pulled away and I may have to go and service a church, I will do that. I'm not ever leaving you all, so I'm going to figure out a way to do both. But I understand that ministry is absolutely changing for me. That purpose is absolutely changing for me. And it was funny because somebody said this to me. The bishop's theme is ignite, right? And it's talking about a small spark being created and going on and creating another fire. And so as I was talking about Sunday, somebody said to me, because I said, I don't want to go because we're just starting to really have church again. It's back to the old OBC and we having a good time. And she looked at me and she said, a small spark. And I said, I'm not talking to you anymore. And I went back to my office, but it's about starting a small spark. Like what we're doing here can be duplicated elsewhere, right? I can take this spark and go somewhere else and create that same type of fire. And I think that's what God is calling me to do now. It's to be that small spark and ignite and go to the next place and the next place and the next place. And even with this ministry, like you all, being presenters in July at the Leadership Congress. It's a spark. You all are creating a spark that's going to ignite other people to do what you're doing. They already have the interest. They want to know how you're doing it, what you're doing, why you're doing it, where you started it, what kinds of things you're doing. That's what a spark is. And so it can change. I'm gonna go to Amber and then Marshall because I saw Amber's hand first.
I was gonna say a lot of what you were saying, but also too, I think sometimes, like you were saying, like I think your purpose can shift, but I think sometimes it's more building to your ultimate purpose. So sometimes I feel like you are in spaces to learn things to take so that you have the tools to operate in your purpose later on. So you may not be operating in your purpose right now. And a lot of times I feel like we get stuck on what's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my purpose? And it's like right now your purpose is to learn this lesson so you can do your purpose. And I think sometimes we forget that part where we grow and we change every day. And I think that's important. Like Walter said, we got to stay in our word so we can learn those lessons and use those tools so that when we do get to our purpose, we have those tools in our wheelhouse that we can pull out. Oh, yeah, when I was at this point, I was able to do this. Or, oh, yeah, when I was at this point, I was, you know what, one time this happened. And so I think maybe sometimes I'm not saying not to focus on your purpose and figuring out what your purpose is, but sometimes be in the moment and where you are and learn the lesson so that you can flourish in your purpose later. That's it. I done.
Go ahead, Marcel.
I was gonna say, Tiff, if you could speak on just how, because I remember, well, not speak on it, but God is not going to release you from one thing until it's fulfilled.
Yes.
He's not going to let you move on until it's fulfilled. And like Miss Tiffany was saying, like I can remember going through COVID and just feeling like at a loss. Like I was like, I don't know, what am I doing? Like this is hurtful. Like I couldn't get to what I needed to get to. And I just was like, God, why is this even happening? Like, I don't understand. What am I doing? Why am I here? Why am I here? And what's going on? And Tiffany, you said 12 years. I can't believe it's been 12 years. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. And like you said, because we've had discussions too on, Miss Tiffany and I've had discussions on, can you feel our ministries changing? Can we feel our ministries changing? And she was like, yeah, like this is something different. But you understand that we, and I can just speak for myself, but, and I think Tiffany, you might agree, we can't move on or haven't been able to move on because this hadn't found that this wasn't fulfilled just yet. Not until now.
I was going to
So
say you just convicted me when you said that, because you know how many times I've asked to walk away from the young adult
yeah.
ministry. And even when we ended up in COVID and you know things changed and it kind of died, right? When we started coming back to church, I just knew I was done with the young adult ministry, right? But I
Yep.
came back to church and the children were missing, and I had a burden for that. Like, where are the children? And everybody that I asked that was working with the children would say, oh, we can't get them to do this and we can't get them to do that. And I'm saying to myself, I don't understand why, because all Marshall and I had to do was ask, and they would do anything that we asked them to do on the spot. And so God was like, nah, you still
Not
there.
yet.
And that's when we did the revival and at midnight. That was last year. And but what you just said was you can't move on until this portion is complete. And so now this is coming to fruition. You all are taking over the reins. You all are now stepping into those spaces. And so that's why now my ministry is shifting, and I feel like it's about to shift. I'm about to be placed somewhere. I'm about to be moved because this is now being fulfilled.
The scripture I put in the chat was Isaiah 6:8. Whom shall he send? Who's gonna send? Here I am, Lord, send me. The submission part of it. That's the submission part. And when you say, here I am, Lord, send me, that means you're willing to go in any direction he takes you to get it wherever he takes you.
Yeah, and I like how Miss Tiff when Miss Tiff was talking about me at the altar, she said I was tired of getting beat up. I'm not gonna lie, I really was. But I feel like it's just like how it's like how y'all talk about with there's certain people, examples in the Bible of people kind of fighting that purpose, like or like just the fire that they go through. So I know in the note, in Courtney's note, she put Joseph. You know, Joseph was betrayed by his brothers. He had to go through all that stuff, be a slave. Then you know he got accused for having sex with such and such who the wife, and what she didn't, she ripped off his garments. Yeah, she ripped off his garments and stuff like that. He went to jail, all of that. Then you also have Moses. Moses didn't want to follow the calling. Moses said, hey man, I got a stuttering problem. I can't speak in front, just like how Miss Marshall said, I don't like speaking in front of people. Like he's like, yo, I got your brother Aaron over there, he can talk just as, just as well. He can help. I got people, kind of touching on what Amanda said too. He sends people to help you along the path of the purpose. And that's why I say, even for me now, just stepping in this, like knowing that I got those people.
But you know what's funny, Walt? You can run, right? And the more you run, God is going to get. Jonah ran right into the belly of a whale.
Yeah, and that's what I was doing. Like on multiple occasions.
He was running from what God told him to do because he didn't want to do it, because he didn't feel that the people were worthy of it. And he ran right into the belly of the whale. And God was like, okay, you're going to sit right here until you change your mind about what I told you to do. So we can run from our purpose, but sometimes we make it harder on ourselves. I don't know about you, but I don't want to end up in the belly of a whale. So I'm going to just go ahead and do what he told me to do.
Yeah, and on multiple occasions, I felt that same way. And I think that last study when I was talking, I told Miss Marshall and I was around Courtney and Chantel, I was just like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired of this. I'm going to the altar next Sunday. Like I'm just
and
tired.
did
And did it. And now I feel like just at peace with everything. Like I mean, like you said, Miss Tiff, things are gonna come. That's cool, but I'm learning more. I'm feeling more peaceful, more. I'm in my word a lot, and yeah, I'm still waking up. In the middle of the night. I don't really like it, but I be reading my word and I be praying, and I go back to sleep for a few. But it is what it is.
Change. That's not gonna change.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know. That's a
did you see, I like Courtney's question in the chat. Has anyone been pulled away from friends or things in order to shift into your purpose? And how did you handle it? How has it made you feel since the shift?
Can I answer that?
Yes.
So, the funny thing is, okay, I had a group of friends and we would travel. These were my girlfriends. We would travel. I'm talking about like going to the clubs and hanging out and all of that stuff like that. Just hanging with each other. A couple of them were supposed to be my wedding, all of that great stuff. But it seems to me like when my life started to change and God started to get a hold of me in a manner that was, well, like you said, that beaten up stage, I had to turn around and I was like, well, I'm friendless right now. Where are my friends at? And what it was, I had to accept the fact that even in my stages of being beat up and beaten down, because he was trying to get me to surrender, he was also separating me at the same time.
Bless you.
He also had to separate me at the same time because my direction, my path was different. That I
Wayne,
was
can you
going in
mute
a
for
different.
us?
Okay. Yeah. My direction was different, and it is hard. It is definitely difficult because sometimes you're gonna feel like you by yourself and nobody in this world understands where you're standing at. Nobody in this world understands you. But he has we're called to be, the Bible calls us peculiar people. Not because we're strange. It is just that we're called to be different. And that means that you're gonna lose some friends and you're gonna get pulled away from people you adore and you love. It is because your walk is different. Your requirements are different. Your spaces have to be different. I already thought I was kind of the odd group, odd man out anyway, because I was just that type of person growing up. But accepting that purpose in your life will require you to separate. Everybody can't go everywhere you're gonna go. You can't carry everybody with you. You have to be able to be by yourself. But here's what God does. He also turns around and places people in that circle to support you. And I don't want to say replace, but he places new people in your environment who understand and who can walk with you. So yeah, you're gonna lose some, but you're gonna gain some too. You're gonna gain some people that know how to pray for you. I think it was I was listening to something the other day, and it said, I think it was on a Mother's Day sermon. No, Tiffany's your sermon, Tiffany. I think it was your sermon when you were saying about what sisterhood is and what that really looks like. I need somebody in
Yeah,
my circle who knows.
that
That
was
was her.
funny. That was a rare occurrence because I was live in two places at one time.
Yeah.
Uh, on this past Sunday, I was live in two places at one time, and I was giving two different sermons at the same time. And it was about sisterhood. And it's funny because I had Board of Examiners on Saturday, Marshall, and they were talking about friendships. And she talked about how did we get on friendship? They were talking about friendships, and I was talking about how we did our initial sermons together. And she was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, you had help, you had a tag team." And I said, "No, it wasn't a tag team." I said, "We both were doing our initial sermons." And I said, "That's my sister in ministry." And she tried to put it like, she was like, "Oh yeah, but you just got to be careful of people, because they'll get jealous." And I said, "No, we don't have that issue because we both know
Oh,
what our ministries are. We know what our calls
right.
are." So then she stopped me again and she was like, "So you trying to tell me if you got promoted to presiding elder that she wouldn't be jealous?" I said, "No, she absolutely wouldn't because that's not what her
No.
ministry is. And she knows fully what her ministry is. She has that conversation with God." I said, "And second of all, that's not my ministry anyway, but we're never jealous of each other because we're
No.
there to support each other." And so I shut her down at some point. And this was a pastor
Because
that was saying this to me. And I was
we
like,
recognize each
hmm.
other's and we recognize each other's call. We recognize each other's space, and we also
Mm-hmm.
recognize that I know how to pray for you in your
Mm-hmm.
space. You know how to pray for me in my space, because we recognize that our spaces on our own is where God has us. So that's when I said, y'all, that he removes, but he also places people in the space that you're in. So don't look at a friendship as,
I,
oh, I'm losing a friend. No, God is just prepping me for a different space.
I I do like the kind of like the example that y'all make, like not the that y'all make, but how me, Courtney, and Chantel kind of have come
Yeah.
together. Like like I would have never, no disrespect to them, but I would have never thought like we would have all been so tight like that. But now we like tight reading the word and stuff like that.
Because
And
it's a
just be
part of
praying.
the
Yeah.
call, it's a part of your purpose. And, I've explained it to you all, and I'll explain it to the group so that they understand. The reason that the three of them are the way that they are, and it's not that it's just the three of them, and this isn't their ministry alone, right? But the reason it's the way that it is because there's an order to this, and there's they are beginning to walk in their call and in their gifts, right? Walter is the evangelist. He is the preacher of the group, right? Chantel is the prophetic voice of the group. Chantel will
Mm-hmm.
dream and see things that are happening. She will see attacks coming. And Courtney is the intercessor. So Courtney prays for that. And so the three of them together create this microcosm within this group, right? And if you all saw the sermon on Sunday, you also heard me say that the enemy is trying to attack Walter through friendships, relationships, that type of thing, right? And so the part that Courtney and Chantel play are Chantel sees it, Courtney prays for it, right? And there are other people that play parts, like Montel is his armor bearer. He's the strong arm of the group. He handles all the physical stuff that he sees coming at Walter, right? And the reason that is because if the enemy can cut the head off of anything, if it can cut the head off of the ministry, if it can cut the head off of anything, the body is going to die. The ministry is going to die. The thought is going to die. The purpose is going to die if you cut the head off. And so because preaching and evangelism and winning people's souls for Christ is the head of this ministry, the enemy is trying to attack the head and cut it off. And we're talking about friendships and losing friendships. And yeah, sometimes God pulls people away, but sometimes we need to cut people off because they're not going where we're going. And they're detrimental distractions to what God has called us to do. Anything that is an obstacle, anything that is distracting you from what God is calling you to do, you need to curse it and let it die. And that can be friendships, that can be family, that can be relationships, that can be anything that you are putting before your purpose. You need to cut it off and let it die. And it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for you. It doesn't feel good for the people being cut off. It just doesn't. But at the end of the day, it has to move out of the way of the purpose. It has to move out of the way of the purpose. And so it's very important for them to stay locked in. And it's very important. And this is going to sound harsh, and I'm going to say it because they won't say it. There are going to be times when they are going to fellowship together. You may not be invited to that fellowship. And there's a reason for that, because they have to be very careful about who they allow in their circle. And right now, they're learning to discern who and what should be a part of their circle, who and what should be invited to everything, and who and what should be invited to specific things. And I don't want anybody to feel any type of way about that. That's just the way that it is. That's just because of this ministry. And I promise you, because of the purpose that each of them has, if they stick to that, everybody's going to be all right. Right? Sometimes we just got to be okay with not being invited, included, informed. We just have to be. And so, again, there are going to be times when the three of them, the four of them, whoever are going to fellowship together and nobody else will be invited. But then there will be times when everybody will be invited. Okay, it's just it's like a corporate job. There are times when the L1 leadership gets together and they make decisions and they do things and they don't include the rest of the employees. And then there are other times when it's a team builder and everybody is included. And it doesn't hurt the business. That's how we have to look at this. And so, yeah, purpose. Go ahead. I'm gonna do Jay first and then Miss Marshall, because Miss Marshall hand's still up.
Yeah, no, I've definitely been through that before. Exactly what you just mentioned about like being kind of the oddball out, Miss what's her name? Marshall and Miss Tiffany. Like it was like out of my friend group, there was always this one guy who knew where all the spots was at, who knew where all the who knew all like the people, you know what I'm saying, to talk to and this, that, and the third. But with him, I feel like everybody else, he was cool with everybody else. And yeah, I was his quote unquote friend, but I've always felt like kind of like the oddball. Like there'll be moments where I'm just kind of like, well, first of all, out of the whole group, I always feel like kind of like the oddball out too, odd man out as well. Because I mean, I am trying to walk a different trajectory. Like I'm not a drinker, I'm not a smoker, I don't do drugs and none of that. I kind of keep my life kind of simple. Like I'm like trying to find my place in the world and my purpose as well too. So in some cases, I'm on a different trajectory than them, and I think they're on like a different trajectory than me. But and there's nothing wrong with that. But with this person, it always felt like he would just like invite me to places just because we're friends with the same people. Like he didn't really want me around. Like he didn't really want me around, but he was always but like I just mentioned. So first of all, he ends up cutting all of us off. First of all, but but yeah, like I said, the thing is with that person, I always felt like kind of like a hanger on, like because there's literally a time where he invited two of my other best friends, who I trust with my life, more or less, you know what I'm saying? But he invited them to go to like New Orleans. Next thing you know, I'm sitting right there. He didn't say anything to me. I'm like, wait, what's up? I can like what I can't go to New Orleans or nothing like that. He's like, well, you don't do the same stuff we do. I'm like, which is true, but I mean, if I'm your friend, what's up, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it turns out this cat never really was my friend to begin with, really, because like I mentioned, every time it would just I think he probably was threatening to me because I was trying to find like my own purpose and like I had things set up for me to where I can start being a blessing to people. I guess being a blessing to people, but because there would be times where he like if it was just us, he would be cool. But if it was like around people he trying to impress, he would always use me as like a punching bag to get his anger out on. So I don't like, hey man, people gonna be jealous of you, and I think he was threatened by me the whole time we've known each other because literally we've been knowing each other since we've been kids, and there would be something like he would always try to one up me and everything, and 9 times out of 10, I won't say 100% of the time, but 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, I would win. Like I can literally count on my fingers the many things he's beaten me at in his life. But people gonna be jealous of you because you trying to get on your trajectory, trying to find that right path that God got for you. Like even with this whole singing thing with me, hopefully I kind of hope this ain't the route God got for me. Like I hope there's another route God got for me. But I do enjoy singing and I do enjoy, you know, but it's just I don't know. Like I think a confidence issue or whatever. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on that matter. God bless. I'll still be here, but not here at the same time. You feel me?
You here? You ain't going nowhere. Go ahead, Amber.
I was gonna say when I heard Jay, I think it was talking, I was gonna say that sometimes when you have people, and I think about like Jesus, like he didn't just hang out with the holiest of the holiest, right? He put himself amongst everybody, but it's something called what we call boundaries, but it's also knowing what you're gonna do and what you're not gonna do with people. And so I've had that quite a few times in my life. I was dating somebody and I went out with some people who are they're not really my friends, they're my associates per se. And one of them, he has money to blow. So he just spends money buying drink after drink after drink. And I'm looking at the guy I was with, I'm like, dude, why? Like, you're drunk. This is not going to work for me. Well, your friend kept buying it. Did you see me drinking all them drinks? I don't do that. That's what they do, because that's not how I operate. And so when sometimes with people, you have to have boundaries and know what your spirit is going to agree with and what your spirit is not going to agree with, what you are going to allow inside and what you're not going to allow. Just because I see somebody else doing something don't mean I have to participate too. I got my own mind. And I think sometimes when you're in those situations, you really have to pull on your faith and understand who you are and whose you are. We say that in church all the time, who you are and whose you are. But what does it really mean? And knowing that when you in those tight spots, I was sharing with Walter the other day, just last week, um, the 501c, this girl, I guess she jealous of me. I don't know what her issue really is, but she don't like me. She tried to do something funny and go to the bank to cancel my debit card and remove me off the bank account. Well, I happened to go to the bank for a whole different reason. And the girl at the bank said, I was just going to call you. I said, well, what's happening? What's going on? So she told me everything I found out was going on. Of course, I squashed it and she didn't get she didn't accomplish what she was going to accomplish. But when I found out, and I wasn't even supposed to go to that bank, I started saying every Bible verse I knew. Everything was, see, this is what I be talking about when I say God don't play about me. I called one of my friends. I said, you see what I'm saying? God don't play about me. This is what I mean when I say I put on my full armor of God. This is what I say when I say God is covering me in every move, even when I don't know what I'm doing. As long as I'm walking in his direction and his purpose, he's going to cover you no matter where you are, no matter where you go. And I firmly believe that, and I see it in my life every day. So sometimes when I am dealing with certain people, I'll deal with you, but you only going but so far. And I think that's important to have boundaries, because then if you don't, you start allowing any and everything in, and that has consequences to your purpose.
Do. I want to go back up to Courtney's question. Aaron had responded, and Aaron said, I have been both pulled away from friends and also pulled away from I have been both pulled away from friends and also pulled away from friends, meaning he pulled away. Some were pulled away by God, and others I pulled away from or self-sabotage because of the conviction. I have, oh my gosh, my thing is, I can't see my little, hold on. Oh, I have had friends bring me closer to Christ and remind me of how far I am, and also remind me of my purpose, and I duck and run. Aaron, if you want to expound, I think you said you were a little bit busy, but in this, what I hear you saying is not only has God pulled people out of your life, but you've pulled people away, and you've also been in a space where you've self-sabotaged, and that happens, right? Sometimes when we have things that we have going on, like triggers or whatever it could be, right? Sometimes we put ourselves in a place where we show up in a way that we don't intend to show up when it comes to our friendships, and that can cause us to sabotage ourselves when it comes to relationships. And so that's a real thing as well. And so in those cases, because I know I've done that before, I have been in more so relationships. I think I found myself doing that in relationships, self-sabotage, because I've got certain triggers and things that have happened previously. And so I find myself in spaces of wanting to fix the problem before there is a problem, and causing myself to sabotage a relationship. And so those are things that we have to be mindful of, and we have to learn to adjust and fix those things about ourselves so that we can show up as our best selves for our friends, right? Because who wants to show up broken and unhealed for a friend, right? When I think about Marshall and I, do we have moments of brokenness? We absolutely do. But if I'm broken, I can't speak to her, or I can't help elevate her if I'm in a broken position, and she can't do the same for me in a broken state. And so we try to show up as our best selves for each other. And when we are broken, I can go to her and I can say, Marshall, I need you, right? I need you to pray for me right now, because this is what I have going on. And she absolutely is going to stop what she's doing, and she's going to pray for me, and she's going to pray for that broken state. And then I'm going to do the same for her. But on a day-to-day, we try to show up as whole as we can for each other, because two broken pieces, if one piece is broken, the other piece is broke, we certainly can't fix each other, right? So it's important to show up as our healed, our most authentic selves as much as we can for those in our lives so that we don't cause further harm to them, right? I heard somebody say one time that if you don't heal, you'll bleed on people that didn't cut you. And I thought that was very deep, because if you don't heal, you absolutely will be bleeding on people that did not cut you and don't deserve it. And so we have to heal, whether that is, and I don't know if I've said this before, but I am a big proponent of therapy. I love therapy. There's nothing wrong with going to therapy. The world, society, culture will have you to believe that if you go to see a therapist, that something is wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. If your arm is broken, you see a doctor. If your foot is broken, you see a doctor. If there's something wrong with your heart, you go to see a doctor. If something is wrong with your head, you need to go and see a doctor. And crazy is not a diagnosis. Crazy is a word that we use to dismiss people's issues that we don't want to deal with. Crazy is not a medical diagnosis, right? Sometimes we need somebody to help us think about things a little differently, to help us reason with things a little different, to help us look at certain situations and things that we've dealt with in our lives and learn to walk away from those things and how to deal with those things, right? Anybody on this call that's been on here more than one time knows that I am very transparent about everything in my life. I don't feel like there's anything that I hide from you all, because there's no condemnation when you are a new creature in Christ, right? A new creation in Christ. And so I don't hide a whole lot. Transparency for me looks like, yeah, I go to therapy because when I was a kid, I was molested. And that showed up in my adult life in relationships, right? Um, before I was in ministry, and when I was just out there in the world and just living life, it showed up in spaces, or it showed up for me in a space where I would be in relationships and I would over sexualize relationships because I felt like that's what I had to do, because that's how I was treated. When somebody steals your innocence and they put you in a space of feeling like that's all you're worth and that's who you are, that's how you show up. And that's how I was showing up in relationships, because that's what I thought needed to happen. That's what I thought the person wanted from me, because that's what the molesters wanted from me. And so when somebody was coming into my life and wanting to be in a relationship with me, I didn't recognize that it was a relationship. I thought that I was going to be molested again. I thought it was that again. Right? And so therapy helped me to reason with that. Therapy helped me to understand that as a kid, there wasn't anything that I could do about that, because I still held a level of guilt, right? I hadn't forgiven myself for those things. And so I was taking that on, and she had to make me understand that I didn't have any control over that. I wasn't the adult in the situation. It wasn't my house. I wasn't paying mortgage. Those people weren't friends of mine. They weren't in my space because of me. They were in my space because of adults that were around me, and those adults failed to protect me from what was happening. And so I had to forgive myself in that space. And I learned that through therapy. And so I got off on this whole soapbox and shared all of that with you all to let you all understand that therapy is good, because there are things that happen to us that we can't fix on our own. And yes, I have God. I love God and I pray to God, but I'm still human, right? And God can heal those spaces for me, but I have to first acknowledge them. God can't heal what you won't what you won't talk about. God can't heal. What you won't reveal, God can't heal. So us walking around with these band-aids on, right? We need to rip the band-aids off. Nothing that's hidden gets healed. If you have a cut and you put a Band-Aid on it, as long as you got that Band-Aid on it and as long as you've got it covered up, it stays moist, it hurts, and it doesn't heal. When you take that Band-Aid off and you let it get some air, it will begin to heal. Peel the Band-Aid off. Go to therapy and rip the Band-Aid off. It's going to hurt for a little minute. It's going to sting. But at the end, it's going to heal and it's going to make you better.
You ain't lying. I like there's something me and Isaac always say at the end of the day in the gym. We always say we want all the smoke. We don't want to dodge it. And it's kind of going with the earlier stuff that y'all say about you got to be uncomfortable to grow. You can't grow comfortability.
Mm-hmm.
So what? You can't.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't.
And Walter, that reminds me of a sermon that I heard, right? This young lady talked about growing, and she gave an example that woman went into a pet shop, and in the pet shop there was a shark in a tank, and the shark fit the width of the tank. And so the lady says to the pet owner, she says, why do you have them in that tank? You need to put them in the ocean. They're meant to be these massive animals and blah 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 whatever. And the pet owner says to her, he'll never grow any bigger than he is right now. And she said, why? And she said, because he's comfortable. He's gotten used to being in the tank. So now he's comfortable with where he is. So if I take him out of the tank now and put him in the ocean, he'll die. He can't survive because he's learned to adapt to his environment because he's comfortable. He's in his comfort zone. Nothing grows in your comfort zone. You have to be uncomfortable to grow. So get out of the shark tank.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that. I do want to end off with maybe one more question just to end off and see how everybody feels. Do you all, and it's from it's one of Courtney's questions. Do you know or feel where God might be calling you to step out right now? If any of y'all do, and I'll touch back on what I ended up doing. Like I said, I ended up going. I got tired of it, and I went to the altar. It was like, yo, I'm about to step into my calling in the ministry. Whatever he has that to be, whatever it looks like, I feel like I know what it is, but whatever he directs me, I'm going to do. It's uncomfortable because I kind of feel like Miss Marshall. I don't really like speaking in front of people. I could speak in front of y'all in this comfortable setting and maybe groups and have fun. As long as I'm having fun with it, oh yeah, and I can play around and still be my little childish fun self. Oh yeah, I can do it. Definitely. But I bring a different dynamic. So what does that look like for some of y'all? Would you like to share, Amber?
I will say, y'all, I done popped into church now, so I had to switch. I will say that for me, I think I am being pulled back to come to church. You know, I might do a little kicking and screaming, and I mean, Miss Tiff and Miss Marshall know how I feel about, you know, coming to church and stuff. I support the church. I support everything you do, but you know, it's something that I have church hurt. Just being honest, I have church hurt. I'm a PK kid. I grew up in church my whole life, and I got for real church hurt from things that I've seen. And so, for me, it is a struggle. I be here for all the special stuff, and I do all the special things to support the church. But to be in these benches every Sunday is a little bit of a struggle for me. But I feel that I am being pulled back, and it just seems like even though I do it kicking and screaming, all these little things come up, like when they did the sermon the Sunday and they said, y'all, let's come and support. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming. Then it's like, okay, we doing this Sunday. You coming? Okay, I'm coming for that. So it just seemed little by little, y'all just keep easing me back into this. Even though I said I'm not doing it no more, y'all keep easing me back. So for me, that's one of the things that I'm working with. I don't know. I can't even say struggling with, but it's something I'm working through that's being worked on me that I don't really want to do. But we gonna see. I think it's gonna end up happening. It's outside my control.
Amber, you know why it's going to happen? Because of what Walter just said, because of the dynamic, because it's different for you, right? You experienced that church hurt, but what you're experiencing right now is so totally different than what you grew up in and what you knew. And so this is a comfortable space for you. You come here and there's no judgment, and what happens here stays here, and we can be our authentic selves. And so that's why it's important for this ministry to keep moving forward. It's important for Walter to accept that call so that he does bring these types of spaces for those people your age and older and younger that have experienced church hurt, that need that place that they can just be their authentic selves and not be judged and not have people look at them and not have people worry about what you got on and all this other stuff. And so slowly but surely, God is tipping you right on back in, right on. And we love it. And I love that for you. I love that for me too, because I love when you show up. I love your presence. You bring so much light and love to this group. You bring so much light and love to our lives. You know, we have the best laughs, like, and you know, you and I already talked about what our connection is and why God placed us the way that he did. And so, yeah, Yeah.
Low key, y'all don't know this, but Amber and Janine really my hitters for real. They the armor for real. No cap. They the real shooters. They the silent ones. They attack on go. They just wanna. It's like, hey, I need, and it's there. So Jordan,
Right. And they be looking so innocent and quiet on these little things. Janine be over there just grinning. And
Be innocent and quiet.
listen, they ready to go. They RTG.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Amanda, you want to answer the question? You don't. What about Jordan?
Too bad for Jordan.
Jordan, excuse. Would anybody else like to answer the question? Mark, what was the question? Do you know or feel where God might be calling you to step out right now?
No, not right now.
Okay. All right. Anybody in the chat? We gonna see. Janine.
I feel like right now I'm being called, and I keep hearing it over and over, is I'm being called to take up the mantle. And I think Miss Tiffany has touched on it, Miss Marshall has touched on it, but and it's crazy how it happened. It's just one day I looked up at the church and I was like, who is going to carry the mantle? Because I'm still thinking I'm young, right? Like, oh, the old folks have got it. But then I'm like, wait, I'm approaching that age where now the kids are looking at me and they're asking me questions. And so just I'm being told I need to help take up the mantle. And for me, that looks like being more active in my church. I am a part of the usher ministry. I am a senior usher. Oh my gosh, can y'all believe that?
Senior.
But it was so crazy because like the senior ushers are supposed to like mentor the they call them the junior ushers, and I remember thinking, I was like, well, I'm a junior, I'm not a senior, but I gotta let go of the terminology and just accept it. But even outside of the church, I'm thinking about my community, Phillips community, Snowden community. I look up and I see my aunts, my uncles, my mother, my father, they're all getting older, and we love to have our parties, our cookouts and things like that. And I was having a conversation with some of my cousins. It's like, they can't be on the grill anymore. They can't, be in the kitchen like that anymore. We've got to be the ones to carry on these traditions. So right now, the calling for me is to take up the mantle, not just within the church, but within my community as well, too.
And Janine, you know what? On Mother's Day, we present, we always do our Mother's Day thing. You know what hit home for me? We had more mothers of the church between the ages of 70 and 99 than we had young adults.
Wow.
And so that's a scary place to be, because when you have that many between the ages of 70 and 99, and you have more of them than you have young adults, you have a dying church.
Yeah.
Because there is nobody to take up the mantle, like you just said. So I'm glad that God is calling you to do that, because that's exactly what we need.
Sound like a brother and sister connection right here.
They sure do.
Dang. Go ahead, Miss Marcel. We just waiting for Amber. That's all we need.
I was about to say, just throw the cousin in there.
Amber next. It's okay. We working on her. Go ahead, Miss Marcel. Look, she's staring at me.
She already worked with the kids. I'll
stay on
That's
the
just
time to time. That's all I got.
She's still in the kitchen. That just put goosebumps on my arms, Janine, because was it Walt? Yeah, Walt, Courtney, and Chantel. I just used that exact same phrase with you guys. What, a week ago, 2 weeks ago now? Carrying up, it's time to pick up the mantle.
Yeah, you
because
did.
I use that, and that's confirmation. And why that is confirmation for me, because that confirms. And Tiffany, I don't know if you feel it, but I feel it. That confirms that my ministry is now moving. Because someone just stated it's time for me to pick up the mantle. So, as far as where my purpose is moving to, I told y'all that I'm a writer. I have 3 books that need to be published. and I have a podcast that God has given me in the spirit to produce. That's where my ministry is going.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm moving to. My ministry is expanding beyond just the walls of the church. It's expanding to teaching Christian education and what that really looks like. It's expanding to teaching people how to be disciples. It's expanding. The vision that somebody else spoke over me a few years ago, I have actually seen it in my own sight with myself. So my purpose, and like Amber said, sometimes you got to take where you are as a moment of preparation and lessons being learned so that you can still continue to walk into your purpose. So I feel like I am walking into my purpose now because you all are picking up the mantle.
And
Hey, that don't mean leave, bro. Like
I'm never
I
gonna
want
leave.
Marshall to stop talking because every time
still
she
need a little
talks, I
bit of
realize
guidance. I
something
need a
else.
little bit more guidance, bro.
No, I'm
Oh,
not.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
leaving.
No, we're
I'm
not
not
going
gonna
nowhere,
leave.
but
I'm not going nowhere. But y'all
yeah.
have to
No, I'm
understand
playing.
too that a part of ministry is you. Here's the thing, and this is what I preach on too. You can't continue to stand in the same spot, but for so long, because when you continue to stand in the same spot for so long, it becomes stagnant and you become stale.
Mm-hmm.
So God needs you to move. You have to move from where you are in order for his purpose to be fulfilled and for the growth to happen that he needs. You have to move. Now, am I leaving the? No, I'm my ministry. Like Miss Tiffany was saying, we're connected, but our ministries are different. I'm on track to stay local. I'm not moving because that's not where God has. I don't believe that's where. I know that's where God has told me. I'm not to do pastoral work. I'm not supposed to do pastoral work. So that's why where my ministry is what we call local ministry. But that doesn't restrict me from going out and preaching to crowds all over. That doesn't restrict me from writing my books and doing my podcasts and doing things that will still reach and teach. That doesn't restrict me from that. It won't restrict Miss Tiffany either. Even if, when God moves her, it won't restrict her from doing the things that she's supposed to do. But it's just saying that you all taking it on allows us now to take the next step.
And what's
Does
funny
that make
is
sense?
and I want Marshall to stop talking completely because every time she
I'm gonna
says
stop.
something, I realize something different. One of
I'm
my
on.
confirmations before I came into ministry, I received a series of confirmations, and one of the confirmations, the lady said to me that she saw a worldwide ministry, an international ministry, and as I was sitting here and she was speaking, that ministry is you all. And now it ain't got nothing to do with me and what I'm going to preach and what I'm going to teach. The international, the worldwide, she talked about television, she talked about radio, now this was years ago, so you got to think about the time and the context in which it was given. She was talking about the means of communication that were most prevalent at the time that I received that word, right? So she talked about, TV, radio, and things like that. You all are that ministry. You all are that worldwide ministry. You all are social media. You all are going out into the community. This is the worldwide part of my ministry that she was talking about. This is the worldwide part of my purpose that she was speaking about. Nothing to do with me. And sometimes that happens, right? God sends you confirmation and he sends you a sneak peek into what's going to happen in your life. And we oftentimes think that it's specifically about us. That portion of that prophecy for me was not about me. It was about what I would build to facilitate what's going to happen. You all are taking that and you all are taking it to the people. You all are taking it to the world. I was just the catalyst that got you all where you needed to be. That was my part in it, right? And so hats off. I can't wait to see what you all. I like Marshall. I'm not going anywhere, but this is your baby, and I can't wait to see where you all take it.
Yeah, we gonna expand more on it, and just like how Miss Marshall talked about a podcast, I think whenever Reverend Harkness comes back, I want to kind of get something going where we have like a table talk rather than all of us being on this phone. So, and then one computer or something like that, you know, something different. And we gonna keep expanding. And yeah, you said what? But yeah, so we just gonna keep expanding. I got a lot of ideas in my head, but I think I don't know if y'all want to. I saw somebody say in the chat they want to talk about purpose versus calling. I don't know if y'all want to talk about that next week, but yeah, that's what I'm about to say. We about to read. I was about to touch on that more. Chill. No, I'm playing. So starting what you want to say? What June? Next month's June. June 1st. We said what? Joshua, the book of Joshua. We gonna do the book of Joshua. I don't know if how y'all feel. Y'all want to do like a chapter a day and then take a break Saturday, Sunday. I know Montel like to take breaks on Saturday and Sunday, so I'm gonna just go ahead and throw him under the bus. But
wasn't Miss Tiffany talking about a book called was it Joshua Generation?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it wasn't necessarily a book, but I was telling them that this is what this is all I've heard in my ears since January. God has been saying Joshua generation. And so I implored them to read the book of Joshua and Jeremiah are the two books that you all need to read next, because Joshua and Jeremiah are going to give you all perspective and foundation for what you're doing, because Joshua and Jeremiah were young, young prophets, young ministers in the Bible. And so I wanted you all to kind of see what their journey was, because that's what I keep hearing. Joshua generation, Jeremiah. As a matter of fact, when I came into ministry and even before I came into ministry, I was told to read Joshua 1 and Jeremiah 1, because those would be the foundations of my ministry. And I'm watching it unfold. So start with Joshua. I was just gonna, you guys said a chapter a day.
yeah, I think, man, ain't no see how long the chapter. Y'all should not have no problem reading a chapter a day and writing on the chapters. That's fun. We got to get in the word. Ain't that right, Jordan? Yeah. See?
The first chapter.
Okay, so we gonna read. So look, so we gonna start June 1st, reading Jeremiah. We gonna do a chapter a day.
Jeremiah or Joshua?
No, Joshua. My bad.
Okay.
Joshua's first. A chapter a day. Write about it. Write what you receive from it, and then the next Bible study we gonna bring what you have got from there and what stuck out to you.
Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday.
June 1st.
So put here, there are 24 chapters in the book of Joshua. However y'all want to divide up the 24 chapters over the 31-day, if you're going to do it for the whole month, over the 31-day period, there are 24 chapters in the book of Jeremiah.
I thought we were doing Joshua.
You said
We're
there's
doing-
20.
I mean, I'm sorry. Joshua. I'm saying Jeremiah. Joshua.
So look, so look.
That'll work out, because the last Wednesday is the 25th. So by the last Wednesday in June, we would have read the book.
We'll start June 2nd. You want to start June 2nd because that's a Monday.
Start June 1st.
June 1st. Okay, June 1st. Okay, so we're gonna do Sunday to Fridays. Take a break on Saturdays.
Sunday to Fridays. Okay.
Look at my head go. More steam coming out of my ears. All right. And then if y'all want to, we could check in. We could check in with each other. I don't know if y'all are in the group meets or anything like that, but we can check in. I'm gonna make sure I check in on some people in there reading. Janine, Amber.
Oh, did he just call y'all out?
I was just about to send a text or in the chat. I don't know. I'm a millennial. I don't know how this works, but like maybe Amber and I can work on a calendar and send it to you with the different chapters for everybody.
Thank you, Janine.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Janine. Yeah, because some people gonna need it.
I'm gonna need it. Okay.
I'm gonna need it too. What you talking about? Yes, Aaron, we'll add you to that. Yes.
We're gonna do she's gonna do a calendar so people can know. But all right, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and close out. Who am I gonna get to close out? Maybe
you.
You said who? Who said
You.
that? You just nominated yourself, Miss Tiff. No, I'm playing. All right, cool. Everybody, everybody, bow your heads real quick because my phone is about to die. Father God, thank you for bringing us together for a good fellowship. I pray that you continue to expand everybody's territory for your kingdom. I pray that everybody has received something from this study, and I pray that we get home safe. I pray that footholds and chains have been broken on those who have those chains of footholds amongst them and their purpose. And I pray that we just continue to grow in you and remain planted in you. These are all things I ask in your holy, precious, righteous, and wonderful name. Amen. Y'all be ready to read.
Amen.
See y'all next week.
See
All
you
right,
next
y'all.
week.
Joshua.
Hold it down.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Until we meet again.
Good night, everybody.
When I stand up, look.
Goodbye.
Like this.
I said, like this.